Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fellowship Sunday. Could we give a hand for the band, please? We have Mr. Karel Roessingh on piano. We have guest bass player Steven Taddei, who's only been here once before at an Elevate. Let's give him a hand. He's super awesome. And then, of course, we have VTC band leader Kelby MacNayr on vocals and drums. And the VTC community choir and dancers are filling the seats here. Fantastic. So I'm going to actually invite whoever it is that would like to stand up and start to move around to please stand up as we sing our opening tune by Eddie Watkins Jr. from Detroit, When You Believe. All right, Kelby, over to you.
All right. This is a great tune, and I hope you feel like singing along, because it's a good one for that. Maybe we could get a little step clap happening, get ourselves all warmed up. All right, now we'll bring in the band. All right. Here we go. Anything is possible when you believe. You know that anything is possible when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Oh yeah, please sing along. Know that you can change a life when you believe. Know that you can change your life when you believe. Here's the clincher. In yourself. In yourself. In yourself. In yourself.
All right, everyone, please say hello to your neighbors.
When you believe, gonna make a miracle. Gonna make a miracle, when you believe. Everything you want, you got, when you believe. Everything you want, you got, when you believe. In yourself. In yourself, in yourself, woo! In yourself. I believe in me, I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can't do. No, 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 no. I believe in me. I believe in you. When we believe in each other, there ain't nothing we can't do.
Now that's a great way to open Celebrate and Fellowship Sunday. Thank you so much to Karel Roessingh, Steven Taddei, Kelby MacNayr, and the VTC Community Choir. Fantastic. Whew. All right. So before I go on, I just want to ask, is there anyone here for the first time today on a Sunday with me being here? So there's a hand going up in the back. Michelle, thank you for being here. This is Linda's daughter, Michelle, everyone. Some of you may know her, maybe not. So let's give Michelle a warm VTC welcome the way we do these days. We love you, we appreciate you, and we're so glad you're here. All right, let's give her a hand. Thank you, with a little background music in there too, very nice. All right, so where are we? What's happening here? Who are we? So we gather here at VTC on Sundays, on Wednesdays, and a whole bunch of other times to basically come together in community to do one thing and one thing only. And that is to remember that love is all there is, okay? There's nothing else. Because in New Thought, we are a New Thought community, the first thing that we teach is there's only one thing going on. You can call it love, you can call it spirit, source, creativity, God, the quantum field, a whole bunch of different things, but the word or the label or the term itself is so much less important than really showing up as, really identifying as, and being this one incredible, amazing, divine, energetic flow that is the very essence, the very beingness, the very inception of everyone and everything. So we're coming together in community to amplify that awareness, to experience it not just individually, but collectively as a group. Because the more that we identify as that love that we are, the more we recognize it in others, right, Winnie? Yeah. The more we feel it in our body. We're not just talking about it and reading about it, but we feel it, right? For those who were here during the meditation, the feeling is the prayer. Okay, so how does that sound on a Sunday morning here with the sun beaming in? Fantastic. And so let us also remember where it is that we are doing this, celebrating, that we are really leaning into the love that we know ourselves to be, that we are coming together in gratitude and humility on Lekwungen territorial land, the land of the Songhees and Esquimalt nations, whose enduring stewardship of the land, sky, and sea sustains all life that flows through here. What a blessing, gift, and privilege it is to be able to live and breathe and work and play and co-create in the shared spirit of harmony, respect, and love upon these sacred lands. So going forward, may our community uphold this legacy of care and interconnectedness that the Lekwungen peoples have and continue to embody in all that we learn and manifest here. Haichka. So now we're going to move into our reflective tune, which is an opportunity. Winnie, could I trouble you to thank you? Thank you very much. To tune in, to turn within, to shift our focus from all the stuff that is vying for our attention out here, and just turn within and really anchor ourselves in the knowing that not as only love the only thing going on, but that we are pure, essential love. Okay, if you would like to sing along, please do. If you would just like to receive and bask in the energy, please feel free.
6, 8, 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Flow of joy, I live in the flow of peace, I live in the flow of love, I live as I release, I breathe in the flow of joy, I breathe in the flow of peace, I breathe in the flow of love, I breathe as I release. I trust in the flow of joy. I trust in the flow of peace. I trust in the flow of love. I trust as I release. live, breathe, and trust. Trust in the flow of joy, peace, and love. And as I continue to live and breathe and trust, I feel and experience more of that love that I truly am. And so right here, right now, in community together, I am so grateful to know that there is such a beautiful gift and blessing in every now moment to further embody the wholeness, the allness, the wellness, the joy, the peace, and love that we all are. And so as we open up our minds, our hearts, our souls, our very beingness to expansion and further embodiment of that incredible, amazing, divine, energetic flow that is the very essence of everyone and everything, I'm so grateful and so thrilled and so honored and delighted to know that not only am I part and parcel of that flow, but so is everyone and everything. And so as we breathe, as we trust, as we live, as we move into each now moment, let us open up and experience that love that we are more fully, not just for ourselves, but for each other and our world. So with deep gratitude and reverence and so much joy and a smile on my face and heart, I release my word as law, knowing that right here, right now, and in every now moment, there is celebration, there is joy, there is flow, and there is love. So I release, I let go, and I bask in this divine, energetic, and loving flow as together we affirm, and so it is. I sing in the flow of joy. I sing in the flow of peace. I sing in the flow of love. I sing as I release. I share in the flow of joy. I share in the flow of peace. I share in the flow of love. I share as I release. I am the flow of love, joy. I am the flow of peace. I am the flow of love. I thrive as I release. I am the flow of love. I thrive as I release. So just holding on to that moment a little bit longer, basking at that level of vibration and frequency and consciousness. Taking a moment to bring into our mind's eye, into our hearts, someone we know could do with a little bit of prayer or spiritual support. Seeing this person, this being's face, their eyes, perhaps feeling their breath, and just focusing all of our loving attention on the allness, the wholeness, and wellness of their being. Receiving a big, nourishing, cleansing breath in and release. Gently opening your eyes when you're ready, if you haven't done so already. Thank you, everyone, for your consciousness. Thank you for your attention, your intention. All right. So switching gears a little bit, and thank you for the harmony. That was so beautiful, yes.
So switching gears and moving into our theme for the month, which is transformation as illustrated by this beautiful butterfly that our creative services partner Brooke came up with. And then the affirmation to go with is, we consciously experience the infinite potentiality of our being. So you can stay seated if you want. If you would like to stand, then I invite you to do so. But I would like everyone to just open up to whatever it is that is being stirred within you right now as you read this affirmation. Are there words that are popping out at you? Are there feelings that are happening in your body? What is it that you are noticing? Just tune in. And then we're all going to take a deep breath together and we're going to declare this together in whatever way you want to. Quietly, joyfully, exuberantly, whatever's working for you in the moment. So deep breath in. We consciously experience the infinite potentiality of our being. All right, and so now that you've said it out loud, for those of you who did, what's that feeling like in the body? So now is an opportunity we'll have one brief share. If someone has something they would like to bring into community about the affirmation, about our theme of transformation, or anything that is alive for you in this moment as we gather in community here on Fellowship Sunday. I have the mic at the ready. Okay. Thank you, Winnie.
You're welcome, Rev.Lesia. Well, I just feel that I'm very excited about today being here because Tricia and I just decided to come here from somewhere else, and we made it in record time to be here, and because we knew it was, I think it's Friendship Sunday today, and we both like eating, so. But we manifested, we had 2 cars. It was so funny where we came, but we manifested parking spots right outside the building. That was really fun.
Excellent.
Just said, let's just do this, and we made it.
Nicely
so
done.
Glad to be here.
Okay, thank you. Glad to have you here, both of you. All right, thank you very, very much. So I'm hearing appreciation for being in a community, that you and Tricia came from elsewhere, that you manifested some awesome parking spots, and you're leaning into what love is all about. Thank you. Amazing. All right, that's great. Can we give Winnie a hand for that beautiful show? All right, so gentlemen, I'm going to invite you to go and have a seat or have a walk or whatever it is you're going to do, because the music will come later. But now it's time for some talking by me. All right, so all my papers. What do I do with it? Oh yeah, Winnie has it. Okay. Yeah, it's good there. It's good there. Yeah, thank you. All right, so as some of you know, last week I was in Nashville for the first time ever in my life. It was so amazing. I am so looking forward to going back. City of music, city of lovely people, city of spaciousness. It was like the best things about what I remember loving about Toronto, and then also about being here, and kind of blended together. And it just felt so good to be there. So anyway, but I was there for a very specific reason, and that was for a 2-day live event, which was the Relaxed Money live event that is part of the year-long program that Glenn and I have been in with Kate Northrup. And that program is called Relaxed Money, and it has basically been about using nervous system resetting techniques and tools, along with mindfulness and then all of the money practices, to have a more relaxed relationship with money, a more intentional relationship with money. And it has been phenomenal, so phenomenal that I've decided I'm gonna do it again when it comes up next year, because there's just more to dive into. Now, I also knew that I really wanted to be at this 2-day live event because I have been a Kate Northrup fan for probably about 18 years. She is the one person whose mailing list I have never unsubscribed from, and even though I may not read everything, she's just in the atmosphere for me all the time, because she is so dialed in to what it is that she does and how it is that she serves in this world. And the way that she speaks, the way that she shows up in the world, is completely and fully in alignment with New Thought principles. And so even to the point where, even though we were talking about money and we were talking about aligned spending plans and people were talking about businesses, it all came down to you are the creator of your reality. You are the power. It's not anything external. And the power that you are is love. To be in a room with 200, mostly women, there were maybe like 6 guys there, and this powerhouse in the world that has a rock-solid prosperity consciousness that continues to expand was incredible. And so the name of our 2-day live event was called Overflow, and it was about living in the overflow, living from the overflow. And for me, that was like, yeah, I'm down for that. But what didn't occur to me until I was there was for some people, this word was an activating word. It was a triggering word because for some people it meant too much or flooding. And so there was some talk about, what is overflow versus flooding. And so we ended up going into what it means, how important it is to be resourced. This whole year, we've been talking about the nervous system and how the nervous system is the thing that needs to indicate safety to the body so that we can try new things, we can step out of our comfort zone, we can do all this expansive stuff that we want to do, and the body knows that it's okay to do so and that it isn't a threat. And so this is what happened with even this topic of overflow versus flooding. And so on the very first day, within the very first couple of hours, I think, there was someone who shared that I had already had a great conversation with, and she offered something that landed in a completely different way for me, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a talk right here. I got to bring this back to the community. So up until a couple of years ago, I don't think I'd ever really tuned into the term resourced. I'm feeling resourced. I'm feeling under-resourced. I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, whatever. I'm under-resourced. I don't have the energy, the time, the capacity, the wherewithal, the bandwidth to do the things I need to do. And in order to feel more resourced, I got to do some stuff. I got to maybe sleep better. I got to eat better food. I got to exercise. I got to do some nervous system regulation. So this term resourced has come up again and again and again and again, especially in this year-long program. And I've heard it and looked at it and written it and talked about it and read it as resourced every single time until this person offered a share in community. This is why I encourage us to share in community. And I heard that word differently for the first time as resourced. Now, maybe someone else here has heard it that way before, but for me, this was huge. Because I'm like, yeah, resourced is great, and I'm following the tools and doing the practices and all that kind of stuff, but why? Why do I need to be resourced and feel resourced? And what is it that happens when I resource myself? I come back into alignment as source, as God, as love, as the infinite potentiality of not just my being, but of being, period. And for me, that was one of my key takeaways from the 2-day event, and there were lots. But that just landed like a spiritual realization for me, and I am so, so grateful and so loved that I was finally ready to hear and have that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Perspective with that word. So for me, when it comes to resourcing, one of the most effective ways to do it is affirmative prayer. And yesterday we had our very first of 5 classes exploring the practice of prayer, and it was so good. The first half of the session was led by Sherry, and then the second half of the session was led by me. And there was such great discussion. There were so many curiosities. There was so much insight, and there was a lot of experience that came out of it as well. And so the title of my talk today is Resourced, Living from the Overflow of Love. And so in this class that we had yesterday, one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to start answering the 3 different questions that were asked in our description of the event. The first one being, what is prayer? The second one, how can it help me? And then the third one, how can it help our world? And so I talked about how I have different experiences of prayer. I grew up with a certain kind of prayer that was basically about asking, about begging. It was conditional on, if I behave this way, then I'm going to get this stuff. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, because if that is something that works for you, great. It didn't work for me. And so when I discovered New Thought at the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto, when I started learning about affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment, some people call it practical prayer. Emma Smiley, founder of VTC, called it atomic prayer. For me, this was an actual practical tool that I could use to shift my experience of life, of abundance, of health, my relationships with people, with experiences, just by using this tool. And so for me, the number one way to resource is to practice affirmative prayer. And so we talked yesterday about how prayer is about connection. And even when I used the word connection, I was thinking, connection doesn't really cut it for me, because connection with something. And for me, I am so focused on, and thank you, Dr. James Mellon, for drilling this into my being, on oneness, that I want to be as careful as I can with the words that I use, with the phrases that I use, to be super intentional about, this is what I really want to focus on. I want to focus on oneness. And so for me, it is so much more about alignment. It is so much more about embodiment. There's nothing to connect with, because there's nothing that we're separated from. It may feel like it sometimes, but if there's only one, there's only one, right? And so we talked about how we can connect, or how we can come into alignment, how we can resource. We talked about, and this was more from Sherry's perspective, about the guidance that someone can receive through prayer, the kind of prayer that she was offering. And then what I realized was that was the big sort of difference, the big distinction between the two types of prayer that we were offering, the two types of perspectives on prayer, that Sherry's is very much about guidance, and that our style, New Thought, Science of Mind, Unity, Divine Science, Universal Foundations for Better Living, is about affirmation. It is about saying, this is who and what, there's only one thing going on, this is who and what I am, this is what I know, thank you, I appreciate so very much that it is done, and now I'm just letting it go and letting it happen the way that it's meant to happen. Not trying to control, I'm no puppet master or anything like that, even though sometimes I am a puppet master. But really, letting it go and just trusting and knowing that the greatest and highest version of whatever it is I'm supposed to experience is happening or is on its way. All right? And so we were also talking about language, and this was such a great discussion. It was more like a philosophy class for a while there, about how language can be so limiting, and language itself can create a barrier or a seeming separation between us and Source, us and the love that we truly are. And so it reminded me, I wrote a book a few years ago that I know some of you have read, but I talked about this because in the very first Advanced Consciousness Studies class with Dr. James Mellon of the Global Truth Center, Los Angeles, the subtitle, and that's not the right word, the adjacent title for our class was There Are No Words, and the other one was Question Everything. And There Are No Words kept coming up again and again and again because we found it so incredibly challenging and difficult at times, and sometimes it was like, I don't even want to diminish what it is that's being experienced here with words, because that is going to limit it, because I only know the words I know from my human mind perspective, and yet there's all of these infinite potentialities, these infinite possibilities, these infinite ways of not just describing something, but experiencing and embodying it. And so I went and I read it this morning, and I'm like, yeah, this still works for me. So I want to share it with you guys. I believe words can be limiting. I also believe words can be liberating. I believe endeavoring to explain something as mind-bending and seemingly ineffable as oneness using only words can feel daunting. However, I also believe we should still try. Why? Because when we realize we can't rely on what we have in front of us, we are pushed, inspired, even activated to move beyond the limitations of our current understanding and capability. That inspiration opens us up to stepping out of our comfort zones, which in turn allows us to gain new insights and perspectives on what it is we're trying to understand. These new insights and perspectives are what ignites our imagination and allows us to more fully experience the infinite creativity, resilience, and love we innately are and what we can become. Words may be limiting by nature, but language is continually expanding and evolving out of necessity, as are we. And so if we are to keep transforming, if we are to keep moving beyond our comfort zone that is in place right now, if we are to keep moving beyond the physical experience that we are having right now and really embrace and embody our true nature, which is something that really seems to be ineffable, unexplainable, indescribable, then we need to keep opening up and allowing ourselves to be expanded. But that can feel scary, right? Because moving into the unknown, moving into the new, moving into the something that hasn't yet been experienced, so we have no context for what it's going to feel like, that can be a threat to our nervous system. That can be a threat to our body, and no matter what our conscious intentions and dreams and desires might be, our body and nervous system are going to shut down, and we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to grow. And that is when the resourcing of nervous system tools comes in, because that's when, I've shown you guys some of these before, that's when we signal safety to the body, that it is okay to feel exactly how we're feeling. It's okay to lean up against the comfort zone, and then it's okay to let that comfort zone soften and then actually move through it so that we can experience a more expanded version of our being. And when we signal safety, ultimately what we're telling is we're telling the body, you're okay, you're not going to die. Okay? And so that is what this entire 2-day event was about. That is what this entire year-long program has been about. And I was just giddy with glee when this resource thing came up, because it was then all about rediscovering, leaning into, and opening up to living from the overflow, and not just of love, as love, right? And so the other thing that we talked about yesterday is that when it comes to affirmative prayer, that you can't just say the words, okay? Like, everything is frequency, everything is vibration. There's gotta be feeling behind it. There's gotta be some kind of passion and movement for those words to be carried along. And so Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science and who wrote The Science of Mind, does Reverend Raymond have his big chunky book with him today? No.
I did not bring
Okay, all right. Anyway, some of you are familiar, this big honkin' book that's about this thick, where really only the first 4 sections that you need to do, or you need to read to know what's in the rest of it. In there, Ernest Holmes says that the key ingredient to effective affirmative prayer is feeling. Without the feeling, there's no juice, there's nothing to ignite it, it's just a bunch of words, just a bunch of ideas, maybe even a little bit of hoping, right? And then at the beginning, at our meditation today, the thing that I thought was really important to share was in an interview many years ago with Unity Magazine, Greg Braden made a statement and said, you don't even need the words. You don't even need the words, especially in the English language, because English is a language of separation. If we go back to, let's say, Aramaic, the language that Jesus originally spoke, there aren't words for you or I. There are no words for outer or inner. There are no words for mind or heart, because it's all the same thing. And so then there are different languages that go and start to label and make sense and give context and meaning, and like break things down more and more and more, which just causes more seeming separation, right? So if we bring it all back to forget about the words for a moment and just tune into the feeling, that is what the prayer is itself. Now, the other thing I want to read you is from Rupert Spira. I've talked about him before, and for me right now, he's the person I look to in terms of like, okay, how much more can I expand? What else can I open up to that's different from what I've been learning up until now? And so at the back of The Heart of Prayer, this little book that I absolutely adore, he writes, "The belief that we are a separate person, a tiny part of a vast world, leads us to project the idea of God beyond the world at an infinite distance from ourselves. As this person, we enter into a devotional relationship with God. We surrender to God. This is the highest state of the individual, placing it in right relationships to the whole." So again, if that works for you, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But then he writes, however, when the individual is divested of all the qualities that it derives from the content of experience, it stands revealed as infinite being, God's being, the only being there is. As such, the individual does not pray, it is dissolved in prayer. So to end, when we practice affirmative prayer, we become more intentional and directional with our thoughts, with our conscious mind. We get clear on who and what we truly are, love. And with that intentionality and clarity, we're led to fulfillment, to more wholly experiencing and expressing as the love we truly are, until eventually, through the resourcing of affirmative prayer, our attention and focus shift from experiencing our beingness, our humanness as expressions of God, to more fully embodying the infinite potentiality of being, aka the overflow of love. Thank you, and so it is. All right, so we have about 8 minutes for some conscious connection. So if you would like to get into a group with someone, 3, 4 people, then please just move your chairs around and have a little chin wag and marinate on what it is that you have just experienced or heard. And if you would prefer not to, that's okay. Go and have some tea in the hall, take a little walk, go outside in the sunshine, and I will ding the meditation bowl when it's time to come back. Thank you. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning. All right, come on back, everyone. So as you're coming back, I'm just going to read you this little note that my beloved husband gave to me. Source equals, so you are consciousness expressing. Oh, Glenn, Mr. Words. All right, so I am going to now hand out the You Are Beautiful blessing box, Reverend Blenda. So please feel free to take an affirmation, a blessing, add it to your collection, something to inspire you from day to day. And as that is going around, then we're also going to spread some love. So I want to ask anyone who is a current or past board member, would you please rise and get loved up? All right. All right. So we have Linda, Mary, Kathy, Sandy. That's it? Okay. All right. Great. Okay. Fantastic. So being on the board myself this year, actually being on the board, not just sitting in at all the board meetings the last 2 years, but being on the board, I can personally attest to the amount of work, the amount of dedication, the amount of commitment, the time and energy and focus and gumption to also lean into the unknown it takes to be a board member. And so could we please give it up for these dedicated and committed volunteers, no one is paid, who are stewarding our organization into the next iteration of VTC, okay? We love you, we appreciate you, thank you for your commitment to VTC. Now, please stay standing because as you are volunteers, next slide, please, there are more volunteers. So now I would like all the volunteers, anything that you have ever volunteered for, greeters, prayer team, tech table, musicians at the back of the room. I know you are of service in your very special way. All the different ways I can't even think of. You've helped put chairs away, hospitality team. This is almost everyone standing up here, right? Andy, surely you volunteered for something. All right, so now let's all love each other up because everyone is being of service to this community and helping to usher it into the next expression of VTC. We love you, we appreciate you. Thank you for your commitment to VTC. And now the last one is there wouldn't be any community without community. So Andy, why don't you stand on up? All right. And who's back there? Teresa as well. Thank you. And then we have a new member in the back, Susan. I'm actually going to invite Susan to come on up to the front for just a moment. But with community and a new member in the house, this is Susan Richings, who is our brand newest member. And in all transparency, I forgot that today was the day that we honor new members. I let her know that in advance. So she is getting a name tag, but let's just pretend that this is her for real name tag. So welcome, Susan Richings, to VTC. And here's a little affirmation bundle of cards, kind of like the things that come out of the blessing box, but like really nicely made up, to help inspire you from day to day. So we so appreciate your commitment to VTC. We're so glad to have you with us. And so let's love her up. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your commitment to VTC. Thank you. Thank you. You'll have it. Okay. Thank you. All right, so Susan's going back, and so go ahead and sit down. And I'm doing something that I've decided we're just starting. We started it at Elevate. This is our abundance bowl, okay? And so having been in a program for almost a year about money and having been at this live 2-day event in Nashville, I would like us all to amp up our prosperity consciousness. And part of that means we need to have a better relationship, a more intentional relationship with money. So instead of the bowl being kind of out of sight, out of mind on the side of the room, I am actually physically handing the bowl to people and requesting that you pass it on. If you would like to put something in there, please do. I just forgot my thing. If you do not have something to put in there right now, or you are choosing to donate or tithe digitally, electronically, I ask you to still hold on to the bowl for just a moment and put in an intention for abundance, okay? For yourself and for our community. All right, so as those things are passing around, we're now going to move into our next song. Winnie, could we have the next slide, please? And this is going to be an opportunity to, again, lean into the love that we are, the inherent abundance we are, the overflow that we are. Could we have the next slide, please? And if you would like to sing along, then I invite you to do so.
I share my love over the mountains. I share my love over the sea. I share my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I share my joy over the mountains. Share my joy over the sea. I share my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I share my power over the mountains. I share my power over the sea. I share my power into the heavens, and it returns to me.
In love and appreciation, we are very thankful that we are here together as friends, as lovers of VTC, of community. And we take this love of who we truly, truly are into our hearts. Feel the love. Be the love. Believe in it. And trust that it is with us all week and that we are divine spiritual beings having a marvelous spiritual experience. In appreciation, we move forward step by step in this wondrous journey.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Glenda. I share my peace over the mountains. I share my peace over the sea. I share my peace over the heavens, and it returns to me. I share my love over the mountains. I share my love over the sea. I share my love into the heavens,
you, thank you. And just as we finished with that song, all of a sudden I got this waft of something baking or cooking downstairs. Hospitality team, it smells delicious, thank you. Okay, so we have had some doses of prayer today. I have talked about prayer today. If you would like to experience prayer for yourself or for someone you know, you can always email prayers@victoriatruthcenter.org or fill in a little prayer request and then put it in the butterfly box. Not the silver bowl, the little butterfly box, and that goes to the VTC prayer team. Bless you. All right, how can I volunteer? In so many different ways. And you know what? Today is a great day to ask about it because we're all going to be here for fellowship right now. So who are the board members here again? Kathy, Sandy, Mary, Linda, myself. All right, talk to any one of us and we may approach you to say, hey, would you be interested in doing this? Next. If you have been coming for a while and feel like this is your spiritual home and you want to be more intentional about your participation in this community, please consider becoming a member. We would love to have you with us. You can talk to any one of us, any of the board members about that. Today's Fellowship Sunday, happening in about 5 minutes. Upcoming classes, we had our first Exploring the Practice of Prayer yesterday. It was fantastic. 4 more to go. I know that we said this is not a drop-in, but I also know that almost everyone in the class is not able to make it for every single one. So if you would like to come in class 2, Sherry and I are okay with that. Number 2, next Sunday, right after Celebrate, is the very first VTC orientation class. And I know several of you have already registered. Please register if you plan to attend, just so I know how many people are going to be there. It's a 90-minute workshop. It's going to go by super quickly, but basically I'm going to answer 2 big questions. What is New Thought, and what is VTC all about? Okay? 90 Transformational Breathwork is back. My first one that I'm doing post-collision at the end of June last year. There is still room. I think there are 5 spots left. So if you are interested in experiencing a transformation through the power of your own breath, then please let me know. It's happening next Saturday, 9 to 11:30 a.m. here in the sanctuary. More information through the QR code on our events page, on our website, on the wall, on the door, or you can ask me. Thank you. This is all the stuff that is happening in our sanctuary. The dark purple are our in-house events. The lighter pink are the community at large events. Anything you want to know about any of them, check out our events page, click on the event, and you'll get all the info there. All right, anyone have a very brief community announcement that you would like to bring into community, invite people into before we go and eat? No? Okay, fantastic. I'm going to switch mics. I'm going to invite everyone to stand up. We're going to sing Join the Revelation, and a 3rd verse came to me a few days ago, so the song now feels complete. So I invite you to stand up if you would like to. This is our closing tune. It's another groovy, funky one, and I'm so glad that Steven is here for this. Bless you. What's with all the sneezing over here? It's a dust quarter. Okay, first slide, please. Thank you.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
In this world of wonder, there's a strong vibration of power for creating here and now. We take our thoughts and feelings, use imagination, focus our attention, that's the how. We're living life, we're feeling joy, we're making peace in heart and mind. We're being love, we're having faith, we're spiraling up all the time. In anticipation of a new direction, a yearning for the truth of you and me. People of all ages, lifetimes in devotion, embracing universal divinity. We're living life, we're feeling joy, we're making peace in heart and mind. We're being love, we're having faith, we're spiraling up all the time. Feel the elevation, raise the love vibration, quantum activation, wow. Time for
transformation. Join the revelation now. All right, everyone, go ahead and bless your neighbor, either for the week or for a few minutes before we step on over to the table. All right, everyone, come on back. Verse 3. Here we go. Now we amplify our the other one through playful curiosity of our youth. From awareness, conscious and being, embodying the wholeness of our truth. We're living life, we're feeling joy, we're making peace in heart and mind. We're being loved, we're having faith, we're spiraling up all the time. Feel the elevation, raise the love vibration, quantum activation, wow. Time for celebration, be the transformation, join the revelation now. We're living life, we're feeling joy, we're making peace in heart and mind. We're being loved, we're having faith, we're spiraling up all the time. Woo! Right on! Oh my gosh. Okay, Mr. Karel Roessingh on piano, Steven Taddei on bass, Kelby MacNayr on vocals and drums, VTC Community Choir in the seats. Thank you everyone for being here today, in person, online. We love you, we appreciate you, and we are so glad you're here. And we'll see you in 30 seconds at the lunch table. Gentlemen.